Solved after decades. Cold cases that shocked the police. They thought it was just a runaway. No struggle. No blood. No witnesses. Just a 16-year-old girl who never came home. But 26 years later, her school ID was found inside a wall. And that was just the beginning. Case 1. The locker that shouldn't have been opened. Name: Nia Jefferson. Age: 16. Location: Gary, Indiana. Cold since 1997. Solved 2023. She wore her blue windbreaker every day. Walked the same 2 blocks to school. Same shortcut behind the old tire shop. On April 3rd, 1997, Nia vanished. Police said she was probably troubled. A runaway. Her mom said, "My daughter doesn't run." They didn't listen. No Amber Alert. No door-to-door. Just a missing person report and silence. Until last year. New principal. Old school. During summer cleaning, janitors removed lockers from the east wing. One locker bolted shut from the inside. Inside? A yellowing ID card. Nia's face. Her name. And a tooth. DNA confirmed it. The molar was hers. Blood beneath the linoleum matched a former janitor. One with priors. One who worked there in 1997. When questioned, he said, "I told you people back then." She never left the building. They laughed at him in 97. In 2023, no one's laughing. Nia never ran. She was murdered at school. And the killer stayed, employed for another 10 years. But the next case? It didn't stay buried. It was shoved into the wrong grave. Case 2. The casket with the wrong name. Name: Lionel Jacobs. Age at death: 33. Location: Cleveland, Ohio. Cold since 1991. Solved 2022. Lionel was buried on July 6, 1991. Or so everyone thought. His casket was closed. Cause of death: overdose. End of story. But his sister, Tamika, never believed it. There were no signs, she said. He was clean. Just got promoted. And why was it closed casket? Nobody answered her. So she did something bold. In 2022, after years of battling City Hall, she won the right to exhume the grave. The coffin was opened, and inside was never identified. Cleveland PD is still asking, who swapped the bodies? And why? Case 3. The sound that shouldn't exist. Name: Maria Delgado. Age: 24. Location: Phoenix, Arizona. Cold since 2002. Solved 2023. Maria Delgado vanished after DJing a rave downtown. Security camera caught her walking to her car. Then nothing. Her keys were found in the parking lot. Her purse still inside the car. No sign of struggle. No suspects. Police called it a likely abduction. But with no leads, the case went cold. In 2023, a Reddit thread about unsolved music mysteries got viral. A user posted a link titled, "Mixtape 17, do not play." 40 minutes of static. Except, at timestamp 2112, a whisper. "He's behind me." Digital forensics cleaned the audio. More whispers followed. "Maria's here. Don't stop recording." The tape was part of her final set that night. She'd hidden a recorder in her hoodie. They never found her body. But the voice of her killer was matched to a local club owner, now in his 70s. He's on trial today. And her voice? It was the only evidence that never faded. Case 4. The crayon that solved itself. Name: Leland Booker. Age: 7. Location: Detroit, Michigan. Cold since 1985. Solved 2020. It started with a drawing. A little boy, curly hair, striped shirt, draws a picture at school. It shows a man with a knife in a house with red windows. The teacher asks, "What's this?" Leland says, "That's where the man hurt her." But the windows screamed. Nobody understood. Until the teacher saw a missing poster in the hallway. The woman in the picture looked exactly like the one in Leland's drawing. She'd been missing since 1985. A cold case. Forgotten. Police followed Leland's description to an old abandoned duplex. In the crawlspace, a skeleton. Red glass in the windows. DNA matched the missing woman. Leland had never seen her before. He wasn't even born when she vanished. So how did he know? That's the part no one can explain. Case 5. The policeman's daughter. Name: Jasmine Rowe. Age: 19. Location: Atlanta, Georgia. Cold since 1999. Solved 2024. Her father was APD's lead detective. He worked homicide. But when Jasmine went missing, he asked to be removed from the case, said he couldn't be impartial, but the department went quiet. No press conferences, no flyers, just silence. Years passed. Her father retired, but Jasmine's mother never gave up. In 2024, a podcast host filed a FOIA request. They obtained the original case file. It was only 4 pages long, and 2 of those pages? Redacted. The podcast aired it. Public outrage exploded. An anonymous tip came in. Check the backyard. Detectives dug near the shed. There she was, buried, wrapped in the same blanket she left the house with, in the attic of her father's home. Her blood-stained diary. She'd written, "He said no one would believe me." Her own father. The city of Atlanta reopened 12 cold cases connected to him. And now, the man who once caught killers is in. Case 6, the phone that rang in the grave. Name, Derek Miles. Age, 25. Location, New Orleans, Louisiana. Cold since 2004. Solved, 2021. He was last seen at a Mardi Gras party. Vanished without a trace. His phone? Pinged once, 3 hours later. Then nothing. Declared dead. Closed case. But in 2021, during Hurricane Ida cleanup, volunteers found a cracked flip phone beneath an uprooted tree. Still working. Still logged into Derek's voicemail. And one new message. From 2014. "I'm underground. They buried me here." GPS coordinates pointed to an empty field near the levees. Cadaver dogs hit instantly. Derek's body was found 6 feet under, inside a wooden box, with scratch marks on the lid. But what comes next isn't just a cold case. It's a cover-up. One where 2 cops, a missing teenager, and a burned confession tape were all part of the same crime. And the evidence is about to be uncovered by the killer's own son. Justice took decades, but the truth was always waiting to be heard. Case 7, the son who unearthed the truth. Name, Tyler Griggs. Age, 28. Location, Memphis, Tennessee. Cold since 1999. Solved, 2023. Tyler was just 5 when his father, Detective Thomas Griggs, resigned from the force. He was told it was health-related, but whispers said otherwise. The same year, 17-year-old Maya Clark went missing. Her clothes were found in an abandoned motel. Her necklace found buried in a church playground. And in his old basement, 24 years later, Tyler made a discovery. A VHS tape, labeled, "For internal use only Clark case." It was burned halfway through, warped by heat. But one frame survived. A girl's face, crying. Then, a badge flashes across the screen. The badge number matched his father. He took it to the DA. The case was reopened. That basement was searched. They found a second crawlspace behind the furnace. Inside, 2 purses, a locket, and a bundle of bones. DNA confirmed it. Maya Clark. The footage was authentic. Her last moments recorded. And the killer? His own father. The detective who'd once trained others to spot murderers. Was one. But Tyler's search uncovered something else. Another badge. Another name. Detective Griggs didn't act alone. Case 8. The badge that never existed. Name, John Doe. Alias used, Detective Raylan Vicks. Location, Little Rock, Arkansas. Cold since 1994. Solved, 2024. He showed up in photos. In court records. On a precinct's wall. Detective Raylan Vicks, hero of a dozen solved cases. But when Maya Clark's case was reopened, his name came up again. Problem? There was no record of a Raylan Vicks ever being hired by any department. Not in Little Rock. Not in Memphis. Not anywhere. The badge number used on the Clark tape was a duplicate. He'd been impersonating a cop for years. His real name? Malcolm Priest. A private security guard with a criminal past and a violent streak. He was found living in a trailer outside Tulsa. Inside his freezer, 3 human ears, each with an evidence tag, each marked with cold case numbers dating back to 1992. He confessed to 6 murders. And when asked why he kept the ears, he said, "Because the cops didn't listen. So now I make them hear." But this next case didn't need sound. It needed smell. Case 9. The sofa that smelled of death. Name, Tanya Reynolds. Age, 31. Location, Birmingham, Alabama. Cold since 1998. Solved, 2023. The couch was a giveaway. Free to take, it said. just sitting on a front lawn in a quiet neighborhood. Jasmine, a college student, hauled it into her apartment. 2 days later, she called maintenance. It smells like death. She wasn't wrong. Inside the base cushion, wrapped in heavy plastic, bones. Dental records identified Tanya Reynolds, missing since 1998. Police questioned the family who gave it away. They were confused. "We bought it from a thrift shop," they said. Surveillance led back to a prison furniture program. Inmates refurbishing items for resale. One inmate, Tanya's ex-husband, he'd been sentenced in 2001 for theft, not murder. But when they searched his assigned workshop, they found 5 more pieces of furniture with human remains inside. He'd been hiding victims in his work. The prison denied knowing. The state paused the program. But Tanya's sister asked the real question. How many homes are sitting on death and don't know it yet? Case 10. The truck stop girl who knew too much. Name, Denise Carter. Age, 14. Location, Flagstaff, Arizona. Cold since 2001. Solved, 2024. She called herself D. Always wore a red hoodie. Hung around truck stops with a notebook. People thought she was just tagging license plates. But the truth? She was writing names. Denise had witnessed a murder in a diner bathroom. She didn't tell the police. She told her notebook. One night, she vanished. All they found was her hoodie, torn at the sleeve, stuck on a chain-link fence. The case sat cold until a TikTok account called Ghost Riders of Truck Stops posted old found pages in 2024. The handwriting matched Denise's. One page read, "He has scars on his arm, right elbow, eagle tattoo. Said he kills for money. License, 7XP 944. Detectives ran the plate. It matched a rig abandoned in 2002 outside Reno. DNA inside the cabin matched Denise. And the driver? Was arrested that same year for armed robbery. Still serving time. When confronted, he said, "That little girl never stopped writing. Even when she bled." He led them to the canyon. They found her remains wrapped in a raincoat, buried beneath tire tracks. But her notebook was still there. And inside were 4 more names. Closing case, the church that bled. Name, confidential. Location, Jackson, Mississippi. Cold since 1995. Reopened, 2025. Police received a letter. Typed, "No return address." Inside, a single sentence. The church walls never stopped bleeding. At first, they ignored it. Then came the second letter. This one had a photo. A close-up of a handprint on stained wood. Police searched the archives. In 1995, 3 girls went missing from a summer camp held inside St. Matthew's Church. No bodies were ever found. The case was closed. Ruled as probable abductions. The new priest reopened the church in 2024. He noticed something strange. The wall behind the altar felt soft. When he pushed, it cracked open. Inside, a chamber, lined with crosses. Blood on the walls. Hair tied to nails. 3 initials were carved into the wood. They matched the missing girls. Crime scene text confirmed it. Blood was still preserved in the humid insulation. DNA testing is underway. But there's something worse. On the back wall, a recording device, and a note that says, "They never left." These cases weren't just tragic. They were interconnected. The badge from Memphis, the basement tape, the church chamber, all linked to a secretive group of ex-cops and ex-priests operating across state lines. In the 1990s, they called themselves The Watch. And one final tip just came in. Their leader still lives, and he's running a youth center in Ohio. They thought time would hide the truth. That silence would erase names. That missing people would stay missing. But the walls remembered. The ground remembered. And the voices they tried to bury? They spoke back. Through notebooks hidden in truck stops. Through blood sealed behind altars. Through whispers on warped cassette tapes. These were not just cold cases. They were lives stolen, silenced, dismissed. But not forgotten. Because behind every file was a mother who never stopped calling. A brother who kept digging. A janitor who opened the wrong locker. A son who unearthed a truth darker than blood. In the end, justice didn't come easy. It came late. It came scarred. But it came. And when it did, it shocked the police.